Hi, you're watching Sipping Off the Cuff. I'm Mike Morales. This is Tequila Aficionado Media and part of tequilaaficionado.com. I'm in San Antonio. That gentleman is
Jim Johnston in Youngstown, Ohio.
Ohio. Jim, first of all, welcome to Tequila Aficionado, to Sipping Off the Cuff. Jim is one of our TJs, and this is going to be his first foray. This is his first review with us, so be gentle, be kind to him, okay? But we found all the guys that and the gals that tried out were just really great tequila aficionados, and that's really the bottom line, folks. So, Jim, show us and tell us what we're going to be tasting today.
We have the Besato Platinum.
Wow, look at that.
And the bottle, I tell you what, I took it out of the package and it sat on the table. I got what it was with the Besato translation to kissed in Spanish, but a couple of people who walked through the kitchen said, "What is the sculpture on the top?" And then when I turned it the right way, they got it. So, but it's a heck of a bottle. It's a really nice bottle. It's that sculpture on the top certainly fits the name on it. And this is the Platinum.
This is the Platinum. It is gorgeous packaging. You know, I've never seen a stopper like this. That's a sculpture. It's a man and woman sculpture that they are hugging each other.
Right.
Appropriate for almost Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a good choice for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I think so too. And just so we're going to get to some details. Besato, just to give you a little background, I have been chasing Besato for so long because the gentleman who the company that owns Besato is I believe it's ISBG, and I will make sure on that. You can actually find them. Yeah, it's ISBG. You can find them on Twitter. You can find them online, and they are a corporation that I guess, Jim, they're selling stocks. It's a penny stock, so you can literally invest, just like some people may have invested in Jose Cuervo recently. You can buy this stock a lot cheaper.
Right here.
Oh, did you buy Cuervo?
I did. I bought Cuervo that when it first came out, and so actually a while back I used to be in the investment industry, and when Cuervo that was at least a fun. Initial public offering, that was one that I could get behind the product 100% and not have to worry about any, some people are worried about ethical stocks. They don't want to buy oil. They don't want to buy industrial. Cuervo seemed perfect to me. So
there you go. Excellent. Well, you can find this, like I say, ISBG is their stock ticker, their ticker symbol. And let me get into, anyway, I've been chasing this brand for so long. Finally was able to obtain it from the CEO of the company. I believe he's CEO. And it's beautiful. Let me just explain. It says on the label, premium 100% agave tequila, lightly infused with maca root extract, ginseng flavor, Damiana liqueur, which you've seen the Damiana, which is some of you who've gone to Mexico have seen it looks like an old idol. It's headless, and it's a woman. Okay, it's a female figure, and Damiana is supposed to be an aphrodisiac, which again,
yes,
perfect for the stopper.
It fits it perfectly. It's the Valentine's Day tequila.
Yeah. And it also says other natural flavors added. It's 80 proof. Okay, so I think what we should do right now is we should taste the juice, because I haven't had it. I have been waiting for a long time, for months and months and months, to try this. So let's. I'm going to use a Riedel glass. Oh, it's actual real cork. Check it out.
Yeah, it's a real cork. It's kind of an interesting top of the bottle, because when you first grab onto it, you think it's going to screw off. It's a real cork. So.
Wow. So far, that the nose is decent, and it's an easy pour. So
now I've got here a very old liquor tasting glass. This is kind of an antique.
Show me what it is. What is it?
It's actually a French tasting glass. It's got the same diameter top on it as a Glencairn whiskey tasting glass would.
Okay.
Except this part is just a little bit smaller than a Rydell Venom tasting glass. And I think, and I did a little research on this because this actually belonged to my grandmother, I believe the reason for that was so you didn't fill the whole thing all the way up. It's a much smaller bottom to it so that you get a little bit more nose out of it, and then you don't have the capacity to fill it up all the way like to a full serve.
So you're using an antique. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, just to warn everybody, we're working right now with a glassmaker here in Texas, and I think you'd be very interested to see some of his designs. So hang on to that. That's really beautiful, and I guess it's your trusty go-to because we all have one, at least one.
It is, and my schnoz fits into it, which is kind of helpful for me. So you get the smaller glass openings there, and I have some trouble.
Oh my gosh! Woo!
It's got a very herbal nose on it.
Yes, yes.
And that I'm assuming is coming off the Damiana and the Maca, but
I got a little bit of citrus. It's kind of sweet, just on the real thin layer of sweetness.
Right. And it's not a bitter herbal that you might get off of a chartreuse or something like that. This is a lot sweeter herbal. It's not biting.
Yeah, it's not offensive at all. It's actually very pleasant. Are you getting any agave? There was some. I think from the bottle I was getting a little bit of agave and maybe some yeast. I'm not sure, but it was just very, very slight from the bottle, which is not the greatest indicator.
I'm getting I get that hint of agave on it. Not quite picking up the yeast, but I am. It's I don't even know. I don't even know if I have like the slightest anise almost hint on it.
Yes, yes, and I am getting that also. I couldn't pinpoint it, but it's again very, very slight, very sweet.
Right. This is not like putting your nose in Sambuca or anything where it's going to blow up on you.
Or ouzo, for that matter, right?
Yes, exactly. But I definitely get that little bit of agave on the bottom, but the real thing that comes through is that Damiana, that sweetness with a little bit of the orange citrus on it that comes through the most.
That's it. That's exactly what we're getting here. It's very pleasant. It's very, very pleasant, and I'm sure. I guess if you were to pour it over the rocks, it'd open up even more, probably.
Yeah, I think this would. It's got some nice body on it too, so it's not.
It's pristine. It's very, very beautiful. It is a platinum color, shiny. We call it shiny. When Alex and I do these, it's shiny.
Oh no, it's.
So let's see what it tastes like.
All right.
Wow. Oh. Wow. Holy cow.
That's big orange right up front.
Yeah.
That Damiana is it's there right when it hits you.
Yeah, it does not actually the nose belies the flavor profile because it's much more aggressive on the intake.
It is. And I caught the herbs right up front with the orange. And then the orange kind of lingered and got sweeter about halfway through. That sweetness isn't big up front, but you pick it up at the end.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like there's an explosion of the roots and the herbs to begin with, and then it's layered with the orange on the back end. But it comes right up in your face though. This is a very aggressive.
It really does.
Do you think it has to do with because we just opened them, or do you think it mellows out later on? Because that's really aggressive.
It might mellow out, but the thing about, like you said, the smell belies the flavor profile that you first taste. I don't think with that smell you're expecting the herb flavor to hit you up front.
Exactly.
I was kind of like, this is going to have a little bit of a light orange sweetness to it with the agave right behind it, and that's herbs up front. I mean, it's not bitter. It's herby and sweet, but it's got just a little bit of I would liken it to a Negroni without the gin inside of it. You get a little bit of the bitter, a little bit of the sweet from the vermouth, but then that orange just kind of explodes at the end there.
But it's very aggressive. I'm going to tell you that it's not subtle like the nose is. The nose was very subtle. You could pick out a lot of things. Very enjoyable. But this thing is really aggressive. You have to be careful because you're not expecting the aggressiveness that it's giving you.
Wow. I think with a little bit of ice, this would kind of open up a little bit more, and I think the orange would come out stronger. I like that the sweetness on the orange is not overbearingly sweet, not chemically sweet. Mm-hmm. You know, I was. It's an orange replacement liqueur. If you were ever replacing the actual Damiano liqueur with something else in a cocktail recipe, like a margarita, it would replace the triple sec or the Cointreau.
You could probably float it too if you wanted to. Yeah,
but it's got that orange profile on it. But this isn't that like. If you drink triple sec straight, it's like drinking orange soda with liquor in it. This does not have that.
You see these earrings? Both of these earrings are triple sec. That's what that I don't know. No, instant headache. Wow, you know what? This is really pleasant, though. I gotta say, it's a very pleasant. This would be one of the few tequilas. Well, I say tequilas, okay, because there's a few things that we're not telling you. I wanted to go straight to the juice, but Jim and I had some questions, and we went back and forth with ISBG. First of all, let me say if they're saying it's 100% agave.
Yes.
Everything on this, you know, the label, it's beautiful. It's a product that says Besado of Besado, Texas, in Houston. When you look at your label, and because Jim and I and everybody by now knows that you look for the NOM number. Where's the tequila coming from, right? Where's it coming from? There's no NOM number on the bottle.
And it would be hard to miss because that's a pretty clear bottle. Yeah. So you can see the writing for both ends. There's nothing on it.
That's it. It even amplifies. It's like it's got this fishbowl effect. So it's easy to see and easy to read. It is, however, bottled by Florida Caribbean Distillers in Auburndale, Florida. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be honest with you because that's our job here at Sipping Off the Cuff and Tequila Aficionado. There's no NOM number. And when you look at the press information, like I say, ISBG is a penny stock. It's an over-the-counter stock. You can buy it. They have a Twitter account. Right now, they are, as of today, as of this taping, they are working on a 47-state wholesale and distribution contract in the works. 47 states. Now, I get, you know, that this is a big sticking point for guys like you and me. Yeah. We have no problem with the juice. All right. Yeah. When we communicated with ISBG, what they told us at this time, all right, is that 100%. It's 100% agave. We don't know where it's coming from. They're not telling us until the herbs are added. If according to the TTB, according to his TTB, which is the taxes and
Alcohol Tobacco Tax Bureau,
right? And everybody who has a spirit has dealt with those guys. They're in charge. They're in charge of approving your label in the United States. Okay.
Right.
So it says it's 100% agave until the herbs are added. If it's done in Mexico, which some tequilas are that are infused, and we know which ones they are, for example, it would be stated that it's 100% and that there's no question. But because we added the herbs here in the U.S., then the TTB says that we cannot use the word tequila in a standalone scenario. Okay? So they can't call it tequila, ladies and gentlemen, and that's as per the TTB. However, if you Google Besado and you see their press material, their press releases say tequila. Now,
the bottle has the word tequila on it, but I think that little intro there, premium 100% agave tequila, they had to put a couple, preceding statements to get to that point. I don't know, because they're very clear that it's tequila. It's not an agave spirit. It's tequila.
Well,
according to them.
Yeah, according to them. According to ISBG. However, according to the TTB, they can't use the word tequila. All right?
Right.
So, to be fair, I've been chasing this guy and this brand for so long that I thought I'd never see it, And there have been a lot of business reasons why, it's taken this long to get it to get it. Let us just be clear about this, that and Jim, you know this from studying the NOM as well, that all tequila that's trucked in bulk into the United States is certified tequila by the CRT in Mexico before it leaves the warehouse. However,
right,
the CRT has always had an issue with the adulteration of their tequila once it gets into the United States. Most often, it's mixto tequila, 5149,
right.
like Jose Cuervo, and most of these bottling companies are in the South. There was a ruling just recently, as we do this taping. There was a ruling it was Luxco versus the CRT. I don't know if you saw it, Jim. Luxco is a company that imports and rebottles Exotico tequila, Juarez tequila, and El Mayor, which I know you've had before. El Mayor has El Mayor has wide distribution. And Luxco sued the CRT, stating that they could use the word tequila. It's kind of a complicated thing that I'm studying right now, and I'm actually working on a blog post. It'll be out hopefully by the end of the week on this decision. Suffice it to say that Luxco lost. The CRT was able to protect the word tequila, which is why the TTB will not allow the word tequila as a standalone. It doesn't say Besado tequila.
Right.
See that?
So Besado Plat, that is not, You got to do some fine print reading to get to the tequila part here.
Exactly. And I find that as a consumer in 47 states coming up, I find that a bit misleading.
A little bit.
A little bit. Because
I think when you go to their website, and it's probably not very visible on my phone, but when you go to the website, in between Tequila Besado is an agave plant. So they're trying to get the word across that this comes from agave, but that's a graphic representation and not the way the CRT sees it.
Exactly. So I would, in all fairness, let me ask you this, Jim. Did you enjoy this sample of this style of agave spirit?
I did. And I tell you, it's. I had one more whiff of it while we were talking, and that orange that we talked about, it kind of opened up a little bit more, and sweetness became a little bit more apparent. But that even more so belies that herbal bite that you get right up front. But I'll tell you what, this on the rocks would be delicious. It's got a nice. It's not a killer herbal flavor. It's got a nice orange sweetness to it, but it's not chemically orange. It's not triple sec manufactured orange taste. They're not. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly bitter. The agave flavor on it is there. It's not. it is not what I would expect the agave flavor profile on a non-infused tequila to be.
Right.
It's infused, so the herbs do take precedence, and the infused flavors take precedence here. But it's very pleasant. It's mild. After you get past that herbal hit up front, that sweetness it's nice. It's not too sweet. It's not too the orange flavor is very subtle, and I would say that this as a spirit in a margarita would be great because then you don't have to add the orange flavor on it. You could just go with your citrus and this and kind of shake it up and get something that I think would be very, very nice.
So it's mixable. It's great straight. It's pleasant nose. And, and best part is, again, we can only go by what they're telling us at ISBG. So we're going to take it on good faith that this is 100%, that they infuse the herbs once it's in the United States, not in Mexico, although I believe that is something that they may be doing in the future, that they would want to infuse in Mexico. So if that happens, then we'll know what Nome is coming from. We don't know. They're not telling us which distillery, which fabrica, which maquiladora is manufacturing this. I'm sure I could probably find out, but that would require even more research than what we're doing here. And
that's, well, I think for the
that's
no. Go ahead. I was just,
go ahead. You first.
The bulk issue. It was about the answer we had to the question of what's the Nome and where's it coming from. That it's brought in bulk. My only question is, where is it coming from? But is it that Nome speaks to me a little bit more about quality too, not just location. If I know that it's bulk tequila, and it's until we know where it's coming from, it could be the mixture of, the bottom. I don't want to say the bottom of the barrel. I mean, I think we would taste if it was the absolute dregs of what's coming out of there, and I don't taste that. But I would just prefer that they refine their process a little bit so that we know where the tequila is coming from.
Exactly. We would appreciate a little bit more transparency. I was very grateful that ISBG and the CEO were upfront with us and told us where the gray shaded area is. But there's only so much a CEO can do when you're dealing with investors and you're dealing with an organization. He may not be in charge of the publicity and the PR and the marketing. I have a problem with that because that's what people are watching. Investors are looking at it as, is it a viable investment? Consumers' investment is whether I want to buy this off the shelf and pay 30, 40, 50 bucks for a platinum that I think is tequila, but I'm not sure. Okay?
Right. And I think, too, and I'd be curious about what his target price point is once that agreement's reached in those states for distribution. Because if it's going to be a premium or a higher-end brand, and we're getting into the $50, $60, $70 at that point, I'm going to want to know the quality of what I'm getting. I understand that it's as an agave spirit at whatever price point they want to put it because of the infused herbs, because of the flavor profile, maybe because they assume it's got some aphrodisiac qualities to it. People would be willing to pay maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think if it's going to be marketed as tequila and it's going to be marketed at a higher price point, that Nome's going to have to be on it, and that infusion process is going to have to take place in Mexico, just because I want to know that the tequila I'm shelling out for, I don't want to pay 75 bucks for herbs. I want to pay for good tequila with an infusion in it that has a good flavor profile.
Well, the other thing too, Jim, is the question that the quality control is there, and the only way you see a Nome number is if the CRT gives you that number. And you see it, because then the CRT's inspected it. Not that that means anything to a lot of people either, but we're taking it on good faith that the only thing they did was put in, these herbs. And then we don't even know, once it hits the States, we don't know how it's been adulterated, enhanced. It's just like tequila on PEDs, on performance-enhancing drugs. We
No, I
don't
agree.
know. We don't know if he's clean. We don't know if he's natural. You know, we don't know if those muscles are there or if it's all water. You know, is he going to hit 50, 60, 70 home runs? We don't know. But that be that as it may, and since we're here to judge primarily the juice, how about, and maybe you'll agree with me, that's up to you, Jim. How about number one, we have to nominate this for packaging for sure.
I agree with that. I agree. I said a couple times, people walk past us and they said, "What is that? What is that bottle?" The bottle itself stands out on the shelf, and I've got a pretty well-stocked shelf here, and it stands out. People asked questions about it, and the glass itself it's heavy. It's really sturdy. It's really nice in the hand. I love the bottle. I like the packaging quite a bit.
I would say also, just to be fair, it's almost as if we are tasting another type of spirit. I would say that it's got a very international flavor profile. So maybe it's a good gateway. You know, maybe you're just not into tequila, but you just love the herbs. You like that. You know, you're into vermouth, or you're into ouzo, or you're into, you know, something exotic, sambuca, for instance. I mean, you could probably throw a coffee bean in here and, you know, call it good. Or like we talked about, floating it on a margarita. But going on what they're telling us, I think that it would be a good idea for us to nominate it as a brand of promise. I have no problem with the flavor profile for what it is. However,
Right.
I think we need to be upfront and say we need to give it its own, how about we call it an infused agave spirit, for lack of a better term. Would you buy that? Would you go with that?
Yeah, agave liqueur, agave spirit. That would be something that I would call this if I were actually walking into a bar sight unseen and saying, "Put this on your shelf." Because if somebody asked me, "Is this tequila?" I said, not where it came from, origin aside, you're not going to want to present this as a flavor profile like tequila to your customers. You're going to want to have them prepared for something a little bit different. So I would be comfortable saying that this is an agave spirit. I'm not comfortable saying tequila until the nom gets in.
I agree. Totally agree. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our take on Besado Tequila. For those of you who are in 47 states, watch for these guys. But be aware that, you know, it's not, to say that it's tequila, unless that nom number is on there, it's not. However, we will call it an agave spirit. So I think it's very well deserved as an infused agave spirit. I think it's well done. We dissected the hell out of it. Jim, thanks again, man. Thanks for breaking this down for us. And I know your first attempt was a real toughie, man. This was difficult.
Well, you know, it was difficult. When I got the infused stuff, I was thinking, oh man, they're gonna test me with some flavors I've never had before. But you know, it's different, and I like that, because if I just got, you know, your regular a regular Blanco, 100% de agave tequila, we'd be going into this without any question about where it comes from, what the history of that is, what the requirements are. I think it's a nice education for people that are trying to learn tequila, that this is like getting champagne or getting bourbon. It's got to come from someplace to get that classification.
Exactly. Just
flavor aside, I'd love to see these guys get it and present it as such. But until then, good for cocktails, good for mixing, good by itself, but spirit.
Totally agree. An agave spirit. That's our take on Besado. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio.
Jim Johnston, Youngstown, Ohio.
Youngstown, Ohio. You've been watching Sipping Off the Cuff, our first one with our TJ, Jim Johnston. We were looking and talking and dissecting Besado Tequila. Watch out for it in those 47 states. And, as we like to say, tomar sabiamente.